All right, Johan, we're back again,
Yes.
and we sure are. So today, during this podcast, we are going to talk a bit more about the myers-briggs side of things, right?
Yeah.
And some days back or so, I talked with you about stress factors.
Mm-hmm.
What affects the different personality types that we are. And in this particular case, I found out that the myers-briggs sure does have some sort of small indications about stress factors. And like, let's say, stress factors that gets the head spinning, so to speak, or gets the personality type somewhat unbalanced, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that it would be nice to talk about this today, since I've been, in my own case, been like stressing lately. A lot of things with the project, and not so much time to do anything else. And perhaps not too much sleep, because I've been, disturbed during some sleep moments.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of a bumpy ride for me. So today I'm really tired as well. And you said earlier today you're kind of chill or more laid back, or so you feel funny. You said.
Yeah, I feel a bit funny, but in a good way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, stress factors here. You actually printed out 2 pages, Johan.
Yeah, that's right. One for your type and one for mine.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I read them, I feel that this is very much right. I mean.
Yeah. It's kind of much spot on.
Spot on.
Yeah. So in your case here, if I read from the paper, the stress factors, or the most typical stress factors that gets INTJ, your personality type, you want, that gets your head spinning, or kind of gets you into an unbalanced state, I would say. So, at the top here, it says that disorganized work environment.
Yeah, that's a big problem. I mean, both if people are like running around and it's crazy in that way.
Yeah.
But also if it's messy, I suppose, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And then have you discovered some of those things in your life?
Where I met this challenge.
Yeah. Or stress factor.
Yeah, when I lived in Järna, a place here in Sweden, and I worked with, there was this artist who was making water sculptures, and I went to him because I was interested in his ideas, but well, when I asked if I could work there because well, it seems like an interesting place, and he said, yeah, you can work here, and it was very interesting to work there, but he was totally like messy in his approach to things. And, and he always changed, what I should do. First he said do this, but then he came later. No, that's not good. You should try something else. Like,
okay, yeah. So is it true that you would rather much prefer some sort of scope of things?
How do you mean scope?
Like to have a more focus in your work sense, so to speak.
Yeah, that feels very good for me.
Yeah,
like, if I can control myself.
Yeah.
What to do.
Yeah.
Could you please give me the bottle?
Yeah.
silver one.
Yep.
Thanks.
So, let's see. So, disorganized work environment, it said here.
Mm. Yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah.
But is it one of the biggest? Like because the size depends on how
yeah, exactly.
how accurate they are.
Yeah, exactly. We can go with like a bigger size here, and it says procrastination.
Yeah. when people put things off.
Yeah. No, we can do that tomorrow. Or maybe next week. Or
yeah. Yeah, it's
it's a stress factor, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if we have this sort of like awesome project, let's say, you have this dream, you have this scope of creating things, or you want to do something, and then the other person is like, no, maybe next week, or come back tomorrow, always like putting things the next day, or nothing is happening basically. And you have the drive, you have the like, you want to take the initiative, I understand, and nothing really moves forward.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, I can totally understand that, because I am a huge procrastinator in life for myself.
Yeah.
But when I jump into projects, you know, I have to like focus, you know, or get things done, you know.
Yeah.
So I have a balance between that, of course.
Sure. I wanted to say something there. It was like
procrastination.
Yeah, like it's very annoying, but I also learned how to sort of you know, not care. Like it bothers me, but I can, you know, okay, it's okay.
Yeah. And inside it's like boiling, like
yeah, I guess.
Frustration, like yeah. And then the next thing here is quite interesting, because it goes hand in hand with something that we have talked about before, that you love so much, and skeptics.
Right.
And another thing of skeptics is short-sightedness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Short-sightedness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really bothers me a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, in this case here is an interesting thing. It actually talks about not having a goal in mind. What does that mean? Like,
does it say?
No, it just says that not having a goal in mind.
Right.
Is it more general for you that it's a stress factor, or how does it work for you?
That's really a big issue for me as well.
Yeah.
Because like now I'm doing a lot of things that is very meaningful to me, and I feel very happy about that.
Yeah.
But like when I lived in Järna, it was more like I didn't know what to do at all, you know. So.
Yeah. All right.
So, and I felt very miserable about that. So. So I can see that it makes a lot of difference to me.
Yeah. Would you say that this part here is something that brings more of a emptiness to you, a more empty feeling, or like no goal in mind, you know, or does it make you more confused, or is it like not knowing what to do really? Is that a factor that can bring you into depression, perhaps, or is it more like or
I think in the short term maybe it brings you down, but if it keeps up, you will become depressed, right?
Yeah. All right. And then it says here, indecision.
Right.
Indecision.
Yeah, indecision. I don't like that.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's also a big thing.
Also a big thing for you. Yeah. And this right here is like in the middle somewhere. Like when it comes to INTJs, it says more general. But in your case, it's bigger. Right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. And then talk about our feelings. What we truly feel, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I don't feel I have a big problem with that.
Yeah.
Like.
Because everything like this here is more in personal preferences as well, like how you have been nurtured, you know, and or how you have been like how you've been basically grown up, you know. And in your case, it seems like some things here are bigger for you, and some things are smaller. Like
even in the opposite way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Interesting. And another thing here, after talking about the feelings, it says here that a limited time to change plans.
Oh, also very bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say you started working on this great project. You have a vision and goal in mind, and you're so close to finishing it. And then some circumstances change that suddenly. And it says that we can't continue, you have to work on this instead, or change something up, basically. How would your reaction be to that?
No, it's not good. But I mean, also like when I live here, and it happens sometimes that like if my mother wants to go shopping, and I usually go with her, so we don't have to go a lot of times. But then I get very short notice, like sometimes, and then I get very frustrated by. Like,
okay, yeah.
I need to plan this.
Yeah. It's like if a person would give you a longer heads up of things, like we need to buy groceries, let's say in 3 days time or so.
Yeah, or the day before at least.
Yeah, the day before at least. Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah. I think I can be really bad at that, to give people heads up, because I can be like, this happens now.
Yeah.
Like without even having a second thought in mind, you know, of things. So yeah, I understand that like ENFPs can stress INTJs sometimes, I guess, for perhaps the ENFP wants to do something with the INTJ, like let's say hang out, for instance, or going to some place together. And if we give a short notice, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, the phone is calling. I must have forgotten to turn it
off. We'll see if it ends the recording. You can like check, or if the recording is still on.
It's still running.
Yeah. Awesome.
I just have to put it on flight mode, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
Perfect. Nice.
Oh, sorry, I got so distracted, so I didn't really hear what you said, but you said...
I said that like we ENFPs can perhaps create a very disharmonic time for INTJs.
You mean like to give short notice?
Yeah. If we do that sometimes. I think like from ENFP's perspective, it's not meant to be like that. It's like because we don't see it, you know? Yeah. It's like we only see the enthusiastic part of doing something fun together.
Yeah.
And then it's like the INTJ can be like, oh no, I'm not ready, or like.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I don't feel that so much in our relation, at least.
Yeah. Perhaps you feel my intentions more, or can see that it's in a good what's it called, like a good intention behind it, perhaps, so it's excused, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like.
I don't feel that you do that so much.
Oh, okay. It's like sometimes for me, I can see myself doing that sometimes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. This is very interesting because now it has to do with your personality types, INTJ's logic.
Mm-hmm.
So this part here says dismissing my logical decisions.
Mm.
Like if another person comes up to you and says, a skeptic, for instance, no, that's not true, or no, that doesn't work, Johan, no, or just dismiss your logical side of things, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big issue as well. Yeah.
Do you have some like real life examples of that?
Well, I felt a lot of this came when I lived before I came back where we are now. Then I stayed in an apartment with a girl who I rented a room from.
Yeah.
And she was doing stuff like that. I felt.
Yeah.
We had a lot of arguments. So.
Yeah. Because I think it's, for me, it's a huge part of a relationship or friendships or any relationship, basically, to honor the other person's side of things and go for the first and foremost understanding. You know, the listening part, and really being there and aware and mindful of the other person's sides. And having some sort of a stressor for you, then like dismissing, not listening, not being understood, not listened to, or even like shoved away, like, no, that's that must be really frustrating. I can tell.
Yeah.
And then we have another interesting set here that says mindless rule followers.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm not so sure about this one for me, myself, or what this means.
What it means.
Yeah.
Like someone is has got to follow the rules, basically. Like.
Oh, okay. So perhaps more of a sensor side. Things.
I guess.
Yeah. Set rules and always that safe spot of this is the law, or this is the rule.
Yeah, and you have to follow it.
Yeah.
We can't bend the rules.
Yeah, okay.
I think.
Interesting, yeah. So would you say that is like a stress factor?
For me?
Like if you see mindless rule followers all the time? Or,
yeah, if it gets too much, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, a little is okay, but.
Yeah. Or even if those persons go to the extent of, let's say, they try to fit you in their own rules all the time.
Mm-hmm. That should be annoying.
Yeah. And then we have a part here saying micromanaging.
Right. Yeah. That's a problem.
Micromanaging.
Yeah.
Is that like small parts all the time?
Yeah, it's if you have someone who's running a project maybe, and this person has to go in and see what everybody else is doing, like in a very low level. Like.
Oh, okay.
And whatever you do, this person has to come and mess up your things, like.
Yeah, okay, and or even poke or prod, or like have a thing to say about the minor details.
Yeah, exactly. It's they shouldn't be so much down in detail when they do.
Yeah, okay.
Like. because it's a you need to have a boss for the project, but it shouldn't be too. He should trust other people to do.
Exactly.
What they appointed to do.
Oh yeah. That sounds really wise. Yeah. And then the next thing, we only have two more things here in your personality type, Johan.
All right.
So the next last thing here it says that it's some sort of a lack of initiative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, is it for me or for someone else? On both, maybe.
I think it can be both, or in a general sense, or let's say take in your personal case, like when you hear lack of initiative, what do you think and feel there, like? Like let's put it in context, like if you're together with a person and that person don't want to take the first step in anything. Like.
Yeah. When I think about romantic relationships, it could be annoying if there is no what is it called?
Initiative.
Initiative.
Yeah. Like taking the first step to something.
Yeah.
Like initiate something.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like being a man in a relationship with a woman, like it's the man's role to be always take initiative, huh? But also like it's nice for a man in a relation to also get what you call it, the other way around, sort of. Yeah.
Oh, mind blown.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool.
Interesting. Yeah. Because like looking at ENFPs, I feel like in my case I always take initiative in things, or like at least say the first sentence or ask a question perhaps, like, or anything basically, to get things rolling at least, like.
Yeah.
So I don't have a hard time with the initiative in things. I always initiate things, perhaps too many things. Like I start this project, and I don't finish anything. Like, yeah. And the last thing here says, this is a huge, like, fat thing here. It's challenging my competence.
Yeah, that's really tough. If someone does.
Yeah, okay. Like, what do you mean with competence, do you think? Or what does that mean? Like,
I think for me it's my knowledge, I suppose, if I say something is this way.
okay.
And someone would, like if they would disagree.
Yeah.
I think it would be alright if they would disagree, but it should be. I should feel that it's rightful disagreement.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like, they disagree just because I think so. It should be more like, I have this knowledge, I can show you here. Like,
yeah. And there's many people, let's say skeptics, for instance, who are there to challenge your competence always just for the fun of it, because they feel like it's fun to question, everything.
Yeah. That's right.
Even though you're right, perhaps, and they just say like no, or something like it, like dismiss it more likely.
Yeah.
That's bad. Yeah. I feel that really frustrates me as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me as well. Yeah, because it goes hand in hand with something that I hold very dear, and understanding and respecting another person's visions or views of something. Yeah. So that was a little bit about INTJ's stress factors.
Right.
So that's your side pretty much done here. So that was really interesting, actually, because there was many things that I wasn't used to. So what does my thing say then?
Yeah, let's have a look. So this is Stressors that ENFP get me spinning.
Okay.
And Yeah, we could start with obligation, maybe.
Obligations. What did obligation mean?
Well, obligation.
Yeah.
It's that you have to do something, I think. Like you're obliged to pay taxes, maybe.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
You have to. So you can't choose. You have to do this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really big stress factor for me because, like, let's say, in this case, for like, I got many things on my hands right now, like with the music classes, like work in school, and then I have, the game project I work on.
Yeah.
And I constantly feel when I get this thought or feeling like I have to finish this, it's like I can't relax almost. It's like I always have a little percentage of stress in me that I can't like cut off.
Yeah.
And that's really bad. If I can't get out of that loop,
Constant stress, it could be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that if I can't handle that, or it like snowballs for me, it gets bigger and bigger. I think I become a bad person because I think I take my stress out on other people, perhaps, or like I can get like outraged even, if I get too stressed out,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a really hard one, actually.
Yeah, you get stressed from being obliged to do things.
Yeah, exactly. Or too much of it, I would say.
Yeah.
Some things it's obvious that I can handle, I feel. Like, because I've chosen those things myself, like with the project, I find it interesting to game develop and create ideas, and like animate things, and school as well. Music is a great thing. But when it comes down to a routine or like always have to like that is the like the mindset of it. That's a really tricky one. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. So like obliged to, but like when you're programming, you don't have to get up like at a certain time, for example.
Yeah, that balance. Yeah, that's
you can choose.
I think that balance it out.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Because in school you probably had to follow the schedule and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the schedule is pretty hard for me.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. But with the project, it's another sort of obligation. It's like I know I have to finish it, but I can finish it like sparingly. I can spread out the time. Yeah. So some days I can take a day off of the project, but then I have to work twice as hard next day.
So, to pay for your cons.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Like I have to like understand the consequences of taking time off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So maybe we should move on.
Yeah.
To another one. There's a really long one which says organization at the expense of creativity.
Oh, that's a soul killer. It kills my soul. Yeah, that's a bad one. That made me feel really bad.
Yeah, one should be maybe one of the bigger.
Yeah, in my case, yeah. And like personally, in my case, yeah. Since I'm like really a creative person, like
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So it said like organization above creativity. Yeah, definitely.
Or at the expense of creativity.
At the expense, even. Yeah, exactly. That's the hook. Yeah. It's like cutting off a creative ideas, just to get things done, basically. Perhaps I have a like greater idea for some things, and they dismiss that, or like we don't have time for that, or like shut off things. That's like makes me feel useless, like fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, let's take a small one now. Let's see what you think about lack of enthusiasm.
That's a big one for me.
Oh, it's big. Wow.
Yeah, it's like a really killer, like a mood killer, I would say. Yeah, yeah. If someone is like always, dull, like really sad or depressed or even self-focused too much, and I feel that in that person, like way too much, and they just like put other things down perhaps, and it's like having like, no, I don't want to do anything, and it's like meh, and like that kind of feeling. Like too much of that really stresses me out. Yeah. The balance of it in my case is that I tend to search for other friends. Then I think it's like I try to balance it out, like.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's have another one, huh?
Yeah.
Endless detail.
Yeah, that's a hard one too.
Would it be? Well, how do you think that? What does it mean to you?
If I put it in my own like experience or context, it's endless detail. In my case, I've grown up with so many people that constantly nag about endless details. So I have put a deafened ear towards that. It's like I feel numb, like I don't feel anything if someone just keeps on, talking about endless detail.
Yeah, could you give an example?
Like, let's say some of my family members perhaps tell me about what I find, perhaps it's bad to say, but it's what I find useless. Like, I don't, like right now, perhaps I don't care about what the clock is or what the reporter says on television, or like what the commercial says, or
something that's happening right now often, like
look
or at that cloud.
Yeah, exactly. Or like like endless detail, like small things, like tomorrow we have to be this at that time, and blah blah blah. I have it in the back of my head. You don't have to repeat it, and like repetition of endless detail. Something like you said about like micromanagement as well. If some person comes in with small details all the time, in that.
Sure, they are related.
Somewhat. I feel that really gets me numb. I turn like apathy. I feel apathy after a while. Yeah, it's like I get so stressed out that I just don't feel anything. Like,
Right. Then there's too many details, but but that's basically the same thing, isn't it? So we can just move on.
Yeah.
To micromanaging and distrust. That was also a nice connection.
Yeah. That's what I said, like with the micromanaging thing.
Yeah. It's
because I felt so related when I read about some of your things here. Micromanaging, yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Like it's about trusting another person to do it their own way.
Yeah.
Like another person can get the same result or even better with their own way if you let them and trust them to do that. Yeah. That's what I feel, and that's something I honor in life, really. And I've met so many people that goes into like, no, you can't do it that way. You have to do it this way. You have to do it my way. You have to do it this. No. I do it this way. Like that really like gets me frustrated. Yeah, really. Yep.
Yeah. That's annoying.
Yeah, really annoying. Yeah.
Right. So let's go to long-term plan. Long-term plan. I think we've been over that before. I feel like you said you think that's pretty problematic, maybe.
Yeah.
So, what do you have to say for yourself?
Long-term planning. What some people see as a long-term planning, usually these days, or society in whole, family, a house, a dog, a car, and that is like a long-term successful approach or viewpoint, I would say. The mainstream thing. That really stresses me out, those things. Because why do they do that? It's, in my case, when I feel or hear something that is way years ahead that I have no control over, that can change like that fast,
Yeah.
It's something that I usually don't think about that much. But if I get reminded of it, I get really stressed out that I have to go along that path. Like that's something that I perhaps must do when it's not, I don't have to like go that path with a relationship in a expensive house or something like that,
Yeah.
It's a really huge stress factor. And I think I feel that from most people these days, that there's so many obligations in life that even people who can handle them, that are really good to handle them, it's like too much for them, either way. So I would say like long-term planning, it's a huge thing, for me. It's a good thing. It's a healthy thing sometimes, though, because I realize that. So to some aspect, I know how to handle it, so it doesn't like stress me out or get me off balance. But if it gets a bit too much of it, like a really serious thing, like a point of no return kind of thing, that really kills me. Because I get so many ideas of like, no, maybe I want to go back, no, you can't do that now, you're fucked. Like, that's really bad.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. That really gets my like ideas spinning, and like I could have done it this way, perhaps, or this way instead. Like,
you've locked yourself down in
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, I have exactly the same thing there. It's like
it gets like a loop of second guessing myself.
That's
like,
very easy to do.
Yeah.
Like when you commit yourself to something, you start thinking like, why am I doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This was so much better. Like.
Yeah. Or you start fantasizing about what could have been.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all those things goes a bit hand in hand, or that's how I resonate. Like, yeah.
Sure.
Reason about it. Yeah.
That's how you reason about long-term plan.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So that moves on to something that is related to what you just said. In relationships, when you choose to commit to a relationship.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Then.
But in the commitment of relationship, it's like a cost of feelings for me instead of a headache. Instead of the mind, it goes to my heart instead, and gets more depressed instead. Like emotionally deprived. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you think about it so much, but you feel it instead.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot.
Yeah. Like really deep down, I feel like both sad or let's say depressed, that perhaps things didn't go out or turn out as good as they could have been, or like perhaps it's the second guessing part as well, because I have so many sides, trying to balance each other. I feel that I think it's a huge part of me misunderstanding myself, that like I have some sort of false hope of things happening, and those things does not happen. That's something that can get me really depressed. because it's something I realize that I do to myself, you know. Yeah, because I have a vision of something that I want and it doesn't happen. No, that's a really a mood killer. You know, yeah.
So that's the rules over a relationship. That's the point we took now.
Yeah.
So maybe we cover that.
Yeah.
It's not such a big thing, it says.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Like a medium, maybe?
It's a medium kind of thing, yeah. It's not, or even a small thing for me,
right.
I would say. Like rules over relationship. I think, like, sometimes the rules can be, in my case, like, personally, I see rules as boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes there can be healthy boundaries as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to respect another person's boundary of not joking about something that is very sensitive to that person, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I totally understand that, and like, I really honor and respect that, you know. So those rules like that is healthy, I feel, and does not stress me whatsoever in my personal case. But if the rules gets to some sort of like if it limits too much of the relationship potential, or it's like, no, we can't do this or that, like it's some sort of micromanaging rule thing there. That's a bad thing. Yeah, that's a really bad thing. Then it becomes a big thing.
yeah. It's graded somehow, you know, goes from different shades of gray.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Then we have, I'm just going around now to something else, which is overcommitment. Overcommitment.
Oof, yeah. Yep.
Overcommitment.
Yeah. That's when you choose something or do something too much, or like the same path for too long. I feel that's when I start to shake, you know, get a bit shaky, you know, like I want to get out of here. You know.
Sure.
It can be a relationship, it can be a project, it can be like work related, it can be a meeting with another person, perhaps it can be like gaming, like playing games like too much, like overcommitting to a game too much. That's really stressful. And this is a bad thing for me because I don't see it, you know, sometimes. Like most of the times, I would say, even I don't see that I do something for too long.
Right. Yeah.
And I stress myself out without even knowing it. Yeah, that's a really tricky one, actually.
Yeah.
I've not so much experience of handling that part. Yeah. The overcommitment thing, or overindulging in something.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Interesting. Yeah, it can be a lot of different.
Yeah, it can be drinking.
Things.
You know, it can be like anything, like sex. It can be
You're so committed to drinking, like.
I'm not committed. I'm not that committed. But,
no, I mean not you, but it's like it was sort of funny to me to say that you would be committed to drink. It sounds. It sounds like it's not so good a thing, but committed for me feels like it could be also good to be committed, like.
It can be a positive thing.
Yeah.
But it can be commitment to a self-destructive behavior as well.
Sure.
Without even knowing it.
Yeah,
you know?
It can.
Yeah. So that's the bad part there, and sometimes I don't realize it. You know.
Right.
Myself.
Yeah.
And I have to be like really harsh against myself to take a good look at myself, you know.
Yeah.
And like break those habits sometimes. And in my life, I've broken many great bad habits, like.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a good thing to at least realize the bad habits and then perhaps change, or perhaps balance it out to a more healthy lifestyle, I would say, instead of overindulging or commit to something.
Right.
Yeah. It becomes a sort of a tunnel vision, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A bad loop of things, like a bad tunnel. For me. Yeah.
A really bad tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then mundane, it's really big here in the picture.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can take a pause now. Bye. This is like the worst thing for me.
I see. Yeah.
But this is the mundane is the biggest soul killer for me.
Right. So that's a very correct description.
Yeah. You know, I can say I hate Dolly Parton's song "Working 9 to 5."
Yeah. Because of the lyrics, I think.
It describes basically how bad I feel about things, you know. And it's even worse because it's actually sung in such an upbeat voice.
Very happy.
Working 9 to 5. It's like a fun thing, you know. It's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
It's like that's scary for me. Like I'm afraid even of mundane things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really scared of that. And it's a stress factor that is closely related to fear, horror, and huge depression. It's like one of the biggest factors why I turned so depressed during my earlier years, I feel. Like when I was 18, 19, 20, such things.
Yeah, would it be like because when you grew up there was not so much stimulation from outside, from like fantastic things or like extraordinary
exactly
magic?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
true.
And then you felt maybe you didn't realize that you needed it, but or did somehow you did maybe. Because somewhere you started to enjoy these things and doing them yourself. I'm just speculating here now. I don't know.
You're very spot on.
Is it right?
Yeah. Very much. Yeah. You know, it's I wasn't like the period of growing up. I wasn't even like in my own good growing habitat or environment. I was in that dull, mundane, ruling commitment kind of loop, which is really bad for ENFPs.
Right.
Because ENFPs, at least my vision of ENFPs and how I feel it relates to me is that I want to like explore new things like freely on my own initiative as well. And have support more likely, or someone else like jumping in and like giving me some, let's see, inspiration or motivation or carrots along the way of growing, you know.
Sure, maybe coming in and say like, oh, you can do it this way also, and some positive instructions.
Yeah. Or even challenging sometimes as well, like challenging mindset or new ways of thinking. Or have you thought about this? Or you know, like perhaps you missed this. You know, like so like it stimulates my loop of thought. And I didn't get that from growing up because it was very mundane for me.
Yeah. It's, sure, it's that way in society at large. Like there's so little mystery and exciting things.
Yeah, and this is the main reason as well why I counterbalance into the part of having fun and being enthusiastic and overindulge or overcommit into fun things.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've gotten so little of it before.
Yeah. Seems reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, but it creates a bad thing as well because I do the other good things too much that it becomes a stress factor in itself. So it's like I lack a lot of the things since I was a child, and I try to counterbalance that somewhat, and it turns out to be bad because I swing all the way to the other side.
Yeah.
It's like And I realize that, but it's so hard during the days, you know, waking up and like seeing those things, you know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a big thing for me. Mundane is bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
For me. Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's more like it's not good.
Yeah.
But it's maybe not as big for me as for you.
Yeah.
All right. Forced to make decisions before ready.
Yeah.
What you say?
Oof. Yeah, that's a bad one as well. That's a really bad one because I get really stressed out if I get pushed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I get pushed to answer things before I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before I've analyzed all the sides, you know, of things, and if I get too pushed, like I have to say something, you know. Usually the bad things come, you know, like, and not the right thing for the right moment. I lash out.
It will be rudeness.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's bad, and that stressed me out, and I stressed myself out, you know, because of that. Yeah.
Negative loop, feedback loop.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad. Yeah.
But is rudeness a problem when others are rude and when you are rude yourself?
Yeah, because I get a bad conscience for being rude.
Yeah.
It's like really bad.
Yeah.
It's because I value kindness so much.
Mm-hmm.
So, but later in years, I felt like a false kindness is worse, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone that really are rude and don't like you and just play kind.
Mm-hmm.
That's even bad for me. Like that's even worse. Like yeah.
I see. Yeah.
So later in years I feel like I can take rudeness better.
Yeah.
Or handle it better. Yeah. I feel like falseness is basically like not being genuine.
Mm.
You know, that's I get more of a like a feeling of disgust when I see a person that can't be genuine in that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, how are you today? You just fake it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's blah.
Mm.
It gets me perhaps not stressed out immediately. But when I say that, it's like I scratch my head because it really, it really stresses me out. Because it's like, I want to wash out yuck. You know? It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it is a big stress.
Yeah, it's sort of a medium in this case.
Yeah.
In this image, but yeah, it seems like for you maybe it's even bigger than you think because if we read your body language.
Yep. It's like bigger than I'm willing to admit.
Sure. So let's move on to 15 projects at once.
Yay!
Sounds like a happy thing for you.
Yeah, wow. Just as I said earlier, wow. Like I create so many things.
Yeah.
I want to initiate so many things.
Yeah.
But then it's like I get reminded of I have to be committed to those things. Then I stress myself out again.
Yeah.
But I want to see them finished.
Yeah.
But I'm incapable of it. Sometimes it's like because I created so many things. It's like I realize I can only finish some things myself.
Yeah. Is it like also you have in front of you 15 things unfinished and like where to begin, you know, like
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So much. Yeah,
that's kind of a big thing. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's where our personality types complement each other nicely. We discussed some other day, because I'm more like a finisher, right? And you're like a starter, I think.
Yeah, interesting.
So
yeah.
So it's because you start up so many things, and then I can come in and finish.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
So.
Yeah, because I remember you talked about that earlier.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a really good thing actually, that we that like myers-briggs and like personality types like complement each other so nicely without like people realizing it how good it is.
Yeah.
And like the weight of it, you know.
Because it's you know, like if you don't know, it's possible that things could work out very beautifully.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what you want to ask for, right? Like,
yeah.
I want to have this good, but I don't know it exists.
Yeah.
This stage of goodness.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's
Sure.
like having this stress factor in me, like, oh, I have these things that I want to finish, but I can't. It's like, and INTJ like steps in and like, I like finishing things, you know. It's like, I'll do it, you know. And then it's like, whoa, oh my god, it's like saved me from stress. Like,
yeah,
it's awesome.
Very good, and also for the INTJ, it's good to get something to start pulling into. So.
Yeah, and finish things like.
Yeah, because it's for us, it can be harder to start up new things, maybe.
Yeah. And ENFPs realize the micromanaging part as well, because we both share that we don't like micromanaging.
Yeah, there's a lot of freedom, huh?
Yeah, and the ENFP, if I would give you some of unfinished projects, perhaps, I would not go in and poke on you, like, don't do it this way. Because I hate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like ENFPs trust INTJs to finish things their own way, you know. We know it's gonna be good because
it's a very positive relation in that way.
Yeah. That's a bad thing that turned out to be a good thing now.
It's sure. Maybe most of them can be turned. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they can be transmuted.
To more positive. Outlook.
Yeah, because it's like having the stress factors. It's like the limiting, or let's say perhaps weaknesses of your personality type, perhaps somewhat, and being genuine and true to yourself, saying that I'm not able to handle that, and like trusting another person of doing that and helping and asking for help. That's a good thing, I guess, in this case, because it really helps. And transmuted and changed into a good way, I think that helps with communication between the types. And I think as you said, I think those bad things can really be used, you know. You can use them to create something good.
Yeah, because it's a position and you can handle it somehow. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and because I'm such like some sort of like search for harmony and balance in things, reading the bad things, I see the opposites as well. So the good things as well.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah. Let's take another one.
Yep. I'm ready.
Good. Procedures.
Yeah.
Well.
It's like that. That's the first reaction. Procedures.
Yeah.
Because it's goes hand in hand a little bit with the mundane. Because 9 to 5 and everything like that. To be able to finish projects, I realize that you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
You have to be constant sometimes. And I'm bad at being constant.
Doing every day a few hours, like.
Yeah, because I'm all, you know, roots, you know. It's like going all over the place and searching, you know, and initiating, you know, new sprouts, new ideas, you know. And if I have to finish a project, it's like I have to backtrack all in my stems, you know, or roots, and like, oh, where is that? No, it's too much. like
All right, yeah.
to me. I become confused.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So the procedure I am living in, like truly, is the only constant that I am is change. I feel. Because I search for new ground, new places, new people, communicating, initiating new ideas, which I love doing, which feels good. But as soon as that, no, you have to keep track of this stem and this tree all the way to the top without even going touching
Branching
anything
off,
else. Don't branch off. Basically. That's really hard for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's also, I can see how you fit into working relations with other people who will complement your good and bad sides. Cool.
Yep.
I like the image of growing roots and maybe like the fungus mycelium.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's why I love it so much. Yeah.
They're branching off quite so much.
Yeah. It's like sometimes I feel like a living ecosystem or like a nervous system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Then we have spreadsheets.
Oh my god.
I'm not quite sure. Like, is it like an overhead images or what is
spreadsheets? It's.
It sounds boring, at least. Like some office thing, like.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming with your attaché, and like in your costume, with a tie and.
Yeah.
And there's some spreadsheet you have to.
That makes me
do something with.
Yeah, like. Right now I sit here and like hit my leg when I'm thinking about it because it like really stresses me out.
Start doing like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Panic.
Yeah, it's a bit of a panic. Yeah, definitely. Oof. I hate spreadsheets, man. Oof, it's really bad.
Yeah.
And I have to do it in my project, because I have to keep track of animations. Yeah. Because there's so many movements in the game and everything like that, and I hate it every time I do it. It's like so bad, but I have to do it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's like having this huge list of like 100 things, and I have to organize them, and I have to like realize which one to prioritize, how much time those things take, and which effect it gives, and how much potential it gives to the game or how little it is seen, like are these movements even going to be seen? Are they important, like all those things, and having those in like a as you said, Excel spreadsheet or something like that.
That's a spreadsheet. No,
yeah. That's bad.
Like a list, basically.
Yeah. Ugh. It's like for me, but I love the spider. I love mind maps. With the branches and
sure. That's
things.
Another model of putting text in. Like little boxes.
Yeah, that works. That works. I love doing that. I can do like miles of mind maps.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's impressive still that you do this work with the game where you described how much you have to do this sort of thing. And, and you managed to get through it anyway. Like
with pure hatred.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. I really hate it.
Yeah. But it's must be double for you, I'm guessing, because at the same time you like to make the game.
I really love creating, and doing the games. But doing all that I love, I notice I have to do a few things that I hate as well.
Yeah.
Which is it's really
right.
Bad.
Yeah. You never get the pure 100%
good stuff.
Goodies.
yeah, exactly. It's like, damn those spreadsheets, man.
Okay. I wouldn't have guessed that spreadsheets would be a big thing, but it sounds harmless in a way. Huh?
Yeah, it really is, but it's bad when I sit there and I have to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, I know I have to do it, and then it's like, no, I go for another cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I start procrastinating. I start like putting that aside.
Yeah.
Because I hate it so much.
Yeah.
And then it's like I sit down and I try to start working on it again. And then I take my third cup of tea and I go out on the balcony and take some fresh air and like do something else, and I try to escape it, but it doesn't work. Yeah.
But I wonder, because I'm also like with the writing, I'm studying now. I have to write some papers for the school, and now we have a course on sort of, I don't know, like feminism and that sort of thing, which I really don't agree with this theory, and so it's so boring if I don't find my own angle. You know, and criticize it basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, when I have to start writing, I also feel like it's tough. You know, like I can't find my inspiration, maybe.
Yeah.
But then when I start writing, you know, and then it quickly becomes funny, and you know.
Yeah.
Is it the same for you with the spreadsheets?
Like,
If you just start doing it. You know?
Yeah. Sometimes actually. Yeah. Sometimes I just have to just sit down and you know, shut myself up. You know.
Yeah.
It's like a crying child within me, like no. Shut the fuck up, do it. Like, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's a really bad thing, but it can be managed. It's but it takes almost like a gladiator fight with myself in order to accomplish that.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Challenging.
Yeah, it's to challenge yourself in a moderate way. Like,
yeah. But even some things here, as you mentioned, like the big ones, it feels like I have to go to war with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Yeah, like the mundane.
Yeah.
Don't mention it.
Exactly. It's like that. Yeah. Wow.
Okay. So there's just one more, and it's thoughtlessness.
Ooh, yeah. This is an interesting thing, because noticing people today as well, I've gotten to learn about people so much thanks to thoughtlessness.
Mm-hmm.
Society in itself is basically fuck everyone else, focus on your thing, you know, I, you know, iPhone, everything, I, ego, blah, blah, blah. And it's like they don't have any time to think about another person or individual. And that's something that I find goes hand in hand with lack of empathy as well. Thoughtlessness towards another person is truly a sort of lack of empathy as well, without even being able to feel for another person, you know. You don't think about them even. That's a really stress factor for me. It's kind of a bad thing, because I tend to... I value people a lot if people are thoughtful about others and show their way. If they don't have empathy, they usually have some sort of thoughtfulness. Like, I've been thinking about you, or I've been thinking about how I could help you with this thing, or how I can... Let's say another INTJ friend said that in a loving relationship, you know, the INTJ went... It's like a comic of some sort. It's like the INTJ went on a route, or the INTJ rerouted the car route for his girlfriend to save 10 minutes or something, like on the road. And the ENFP said like, oh, how sweet, that's awesome, like that's really thoughtful of you. But what is not emotional connected, it's more logic and more like a thoughtful for the other person, which is really cool, because ENFP sees that in INTJs. Perhaps it's not so much with emotion, you know, like an emotional connection with like, oh, love and all that kind of thing. But we see the logic and like really thoughtfulness of the INTJ personalities, and we love that. You know? And we really respect and cherish about those things, you know. So if an INTJ like reroutes your phone and manage to, let's say, for an stressful ENFP, and that we can save time during the days, that's like a super cool thing.
Right. Make things easier and more efficient.
Efficient. Yeah, exactly. That's really cool. Like it's like your personal little robot or AI fixing your life.
I also think that like different personality types probably appreciate different things. Like,
exactly.
Like so you this is very valuable for you, but another type maybe something else would be more appreciated.
Exactly. Like ENFPs, I know in my case I value emotion as well. You know, the deep value of connection and feelings, you know. Perhaps a stressful thing for INTJs, like talk about feelings and those things, you know. Like hurt childhood memories or like deep shadow stuff, you know. Which I really value as well. To go to the roots of things. Like this is why and this is how I feel about that, you know. And this is why, this is the reason. And then it's like, you know. Those things is great. But in INTJ's case, it's just lovely. And I mean, like, I feel like ENFPs, in my case, or personal case here, is that I feel an emotional connection to INTJ's thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
So it's like logic and heart goes hand in hand.
Sure, yeah.
Which is a good balance, I feel. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That was interesting. I mean, many of the words, but especially this one is like fascinating when you talk about how you see them, and I see them like it opens new ways for me to see. I feel.
Yeah, because thoughtfulness can go hand in hand with being heartless as well. Like some people can see a person like, oh, that's so cold, you know. Or he's so cold. No, he's not. He's really thoughtful of you.
But it maybe not extrovertly emotional. Maybe
exactly. It's more like a mindful connection.
And you pay attention and like stuff like that.
Exactly.
Because it's also double words, maybe. Like if you say thoughtless. It could mean like you don't care about others, as you said. Who cares about them?
Exactly.
But maybe also like you don't have many thoughts.
I
don't know.
Like I was thinking about the Zen part of things, like having too many mind, you know, on things. That is another thing that is really cool because like sometimes you have too much thoughts. Like sometimes I feel like I have too many things to think about. And then I just have to silence it, you know.
Sure.
Which is really no thought at all. Which is a focus and meditation, you know.
That's an important thing.
And I think like meditation, yoga is something that have really helped me in life. A lot, basically.
Sure. Me too. All right. I think it's time for maybe a break now that we've finished both our sheets. Our spreadsheets.
This was a good start, right?
It was good.
It's stressful, but but good as well.
Maybe a little stressful. To get these words in your face and.
Exactly, and face them. You know,
face
like
them. Okay, so we'll be right back. This is how we roll.
Johan and I were talking about after the break here. We were talking about a bit about spiritual meetings.
That's right.
You were on a spiritual festival. No, it was some sort of a spiritual meeting.
There was something they called Tantra, and there was another one called Sexability Festival. They are sort of the same, even though Tantra is maybe a little more focused on spiritual matters than sexability. Which is also spiritual, but maybe less, you know. So
yeah,
they are sort of the same anyway.
yeah.
And
what are your experiences from those places so far?
It's I like that we have like sharing groups when you go to festivals like this, and you get very close with a small group of people. Because for me, I have a little bit issue with the connection with others and taking initiative. So
Yeah,
so for me, it's very good to have a group that I belong to.
yeah,
Like for a given
yeah,
period of time.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So that's good, because otherwise become a bit stressed, which is the theme of today anyway. So
yeah,
that's good.
yeah,
So it stresses me out when I have to sort of find someone to be with to do the exercises
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff like that. So then you had some good advice that maybe it's better to not going to the classes, but just hang around with a cup of tea and see if someone want to talk to you and
yeah, yeah,
establish a relation in that way.
yeah. Or take it in smaller steps. You know, like naturally, I felt for you as an INTJ to not go into the physical plane too fast. You know, even though another woman perhaps would initiate like a physical contact really fast, and it can like I think it can really confuse fast. And something that would be really good is to find a safety environment or more secluded area, perhaps more silenced, like let's say, and find the connection and just talk for a while.
Yeah, it's true. In these festivals, it's both. You have a lot of things going on publicly, like with the other people.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. Like you do them together.
Yeah.
But then many people they come and camp in their tents. So,
yeah.
So if you want to be alone with someone, you can go to if you have a tent, you can share.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that. So. Yeah, they in the evening even they have one room you can go to where people are all together and they can have sex too if they like. So, but I haven't dared to go there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more like
too
much for me.
Yeah, so it's more like a polyamorous place.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think basically anything is okay there.
Yeah.
So, well, you have to do what you call it, like when you agree, sort of. Consent.
Consent, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
and they are also very good, the leaders of these festivals, because they always begin with, like, teaching you what is consent and where are your borders. How can you get in touch with your no, basically. Like,
yeah.
This is not okay. Like,
yeah.
And it's also important that you express it. So, because the other person can't read your mind, so if you just think no I don't want it, but you don't say it, it's useless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think like many people, like some people I would say, like us intuitive people, we can read body language quite fast, so we have that sort of like a silence connection on a pretty good level. But for most people, I think that expression part is really important. I would say, yeah.
Sure, and I mean, different persons are differently hard to read. Also, like I would imagine even for someone like us.
Yeah.
There's easy and hard.
Yeah.
Read people.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, for me, I couldn't be that certain. I mean, sometimes I think this is just in my head, Even I think I understand what this person is feeling.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, I become a little bit more like I can't be sure even if I think I'm right,
Yeah, that's a really like a wise thing from you, I feel.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah, because it doesn't lock you into your own perception of life.
Yeah. It's actually a challenge to do it, but it usually pays off, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in my own case, I talked about another connection or a bad connection first, or I started from the wrong path. I felt like in the earlier days of my BDSM experiences and let's say spiritual connections as well. I started hanging out a lot on nightclubs and
in Stockholm.
Yeah, both Stockholm, Gothenburg, and like even in other countries as well. Like, but the thing is, here, what was so hard was that I went on that ego plane,
Sure,
and like that physical plane. And for me, as an ENFP as well, that was really bad. It made me felt good for a short while, but afterwards I felt both empty, confused, afraid even, and like really bad in many ways, because first and foremost, the level of communication, the deeply spiritual connection wasn't there whatsoever. And
it was mundane, maybe.
Exactly.
In a way, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. As one of the it was really many stress factors that I went through. Yeah. During those meetings. Yeah.
Also, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like disappointed says rules over relationships. And then I think like the BDSM's, there's a lot of rules, right? If you're a dom or a
exactly.
sub.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many rules.
Yeah, exactly. And for my case, I am more of a natural connection type of feeler.
You don't like so much the rules, I suppose.
Not so much like boundaries, I would say, like natural boundaries between people. But rules and like short-sightedness and like really like let's say a square sort of rules all the time.
Yeah.
That's really bad and it stresses me out. It doesn't feel natural.
Yeah.
But in the earlier ways, that was really unnatural for me, and that was bad. So later in years, like now, for instance, like take your time first and foremost. Like really have the patience, which I feel I have better these days. Like I realized I thought I was really lazy, but I realized a lot of that was patience.
Right.
Yeah. So I misunderstood lazy for being patient.
Right.
Patient
could
being
you
lazy.
talk more about that?
Well, in this case, I thought I was this lazy hunchback kind of person, going to these meetings and just like
what means
having my way with people, basically as a dominant or master, having bunnies or tie up people and those things, and it turned out bad because I was so immature and so inexperienced first. We're talking 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, which is years back now, and looking back at it, I feel both ashamed and really bad about that because, well, it did give me a lot of experience and like I learned from my mistakes, which I think is good for any master or a dominant relationship to really to get on the empathic connection with a submissive or a bunny or like let's say slave relationship, for instance. Extremely interesting, but being lazy and realizing you're just patient instead, that is a whole different subject. But
still it was interesting that what you described, but still I don't understand the difference between lazy and what was the other one? Patience.
So lazy means that like I put off many things that I should be obliged to do. you know, and I don't do it because I go for enjoyment instead.
Yeah, okay, right. So you go and enjoy yourself instead of doing what you're obliged to do.
Or just perhaps taking a day off and then taking another day off and taking another day off.
Sure, yeah.
Because it feels good, you know. You don't care so much right now.
Yeah.
And then the stress builds up, you know.
So where does the patient fits in?
I noticed that much of the lazy parts, what I thought or what I heard from many other people calling me lazy, was a huge part of that was actually patience, planning, feeling my way through things, recording things in my mind and heart, and like recognizing different patterns and symbols and where the connections come in, you know, the roots of everything. As you mentioned, mycelium and everything, I was searching for answers how to solve problems.
Yeah.
And that took time. In my bed, sitting in front of the computer, playing games, I was constantly problem solving other things.
Yeah.
And people came in telling me I was lazy and stupid, or why aren't you on that meeting now? Oh shit, I forgot, because I was in my mind trying to solve different things, you know.
Yeah.
And I hate that, you know, because I'm so happy today that I realized that. I need time to process.
Sure.
Things.
Yeah. So it's you need to get away from this just one line.
Exactly.
To this.
So. Yeah, exactly. So in my case, solving things is basically, as you said, go from one line to many different lines and test things out. And during my phase of testing new things out, I suddenly come up with solving or solutions for other problems.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Sure. That's then you can sort of forgive yourself, air quote, or you can accept that. I mean, you're not even lazy. You're just being patient with your process, your internal process.
Yeah. And I wait. Yeah, I weight the differences a lot. I feel as being a Libra as well, like the scales as a zodiac sign as well. An ENFP, both valuing harmony and balance, but I noticed I swing a lot from extremes from time to time. And it's not so much, you know, as you said, the gray zones before. I want and I need for myself to be in the gray zones more. Not just like the black and white all the time.
Yeah, it's too much swinging back and forth.
Yeah, and it's too stressful for me.
Yeah.
To do that. Yeah. Yeah. Which is a good thing to realize. It was a bad thing back then during my meetings and like sexual encounters when I was more young, you know. But going back to like the BDSM part of things, I felt like that side have really developed me as a person more and really helped me in life as well.
That's what I was thinking. Like you talked about it, like you did bad things or you regret that. But I mean, also it was teaching you things and developing your
loads of
personality.
Things.
So in the end, it was
the deep level of mutual respect, consent, the listening. Like the listening wouldn't be as deep as it is today if it wasn't for those mistakes. And the understanding part, like really being there for another person, like really here, you know, and listening and taking time to understand that person's perspective and perception of the world.
Yeah.
Exactly. So being an artist and an animator today, I always looked for in the fetish side of life with latex gas masks as I have for lines of movement, you know, because I draw moving pictures all the time. I always look for the body movements, body language. That is something that really turns me on or off, I feel.
Right.
Like, but meeting people like-minded people within the scene and who could really understand that side was amazing, you know. And even meeting older people, like wise older people who have years more experience than me, you know, and learning from those masters was immensely worth to me. Yeah. So
interesting.
Mistakes can be a really good thing, I would say.
Yes. I'm curious about we were abroad in clubs in other countries. Is there some differences, bit depending on country and culture? Or is it more or less the same vibe you get when you go? Or what country did you go to?
I would say that there are differences. Today and before. And I met friends who have even moved to other countries because of that.
They like it so much in the
other countries. Yeah, because it's more open-minded in other countries than it is in, let's say, our country, Sweden. It's more like a taboo, really hush-tush thing.
I mean, that's what society at large thinks.
Society at large in Sweden, it's very much connected to shame and regrets and bad feelings.
Condemnations.
Exactly.
Judging.
Yeah. But then take just a couple of miles south, Germany. Open-mindedness, much more open-wide and heartful connection, I would say. And even go as short down to like Denmark, for instance. It's I would say, in my personal case, like in my own experience, it's a greater let's say, what's it the word, difference compared to Sweden.
Right. Yeah. I suppose like like people you meet out in the city in Sweden.
Yeah.
How it's when you're in the bus stop, it's not natural to start talking with strangers. Maybe you can do it, of course, but it's always a little like awkward in the beginning. Like
exactly.
This would translate into the clubs, and maybe in Denmark or Germany, you're just more easygoing with each other. And
exactly.
What's up? You know, talking casually.
Yeah.
So maybe could be like that.
Yeah. Did you mean talking casually or casually?
Yeah. I mean casually maybe.
Yeah. Being cautious is like warning.
Right. Yeah. It's opposite of what I meant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I understand. And then the scene. Let's say, I haven't been to Japan yet, but one of my biggest dreams in life is basically going to Japan, and I am. Cool. One part of me is really afraid that I will just move there.
Because you probably get stuck, I think.
Yeah, I have so much heart. I have so much heart for the old feudal, like the old Japan, like the old good old ways.
Sure, yeah.
But also the BDSM scene and fetish life in Japan is great.
Yeah.
I have some friends who moved there, and they haven't regretted it ever since, you know.
Yeah.
And I am a bit behind. I'm 30 now, and I had those dreams ever since I was like 12. But that was also for other reasons, not just the BDSM fetish life, but the art side of life. Animation is great in Japan. The studio that I developed as well is something that I would like to develop further in Japan. Animated movies, games, and the whole creative cycle of life, I feel like sprout in my heart when it comes to Japan and Asia more.
Right.
And then the Western world. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, Japan is so inspiring. Yeah, I also thought a lot about that.
Yeah. So yeah, we talked about like the spiritual meetings, and I feel like Japan and Let's say we talked about different levels of meaning for being an INTJ and ENFP and the stress factors of that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I feel more calm and not as stressed thinking about the eastern side of the world, like Asia, Japan, the good old ways, more natural ways of life,
Mm-hmm.
And even though connecting that to BDSM and my fetish life is really wonderful as well, with the work life, studio life, and game development, and the nerdy side of life that I have,
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah.
and relationship connection wise, and a girlfriend who is really interested in that as well, and it's really wonderful to have many great connections, and having being able to talk with people who can confirm from that lives in Japan that, oh, it's okay, Kristoffer, it is just the way you imagine it,
Mm-hmm.
and can confirm that
Sure,
that is just like, okay, I have to go. Like,
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
just some ideas you have in your head. It's
exactly, yeah. I want to make sure it's real before I go. You know?
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy to have preconceptions and
Yeah. Because I can be so afraid of having false preconceptions,
I'm at the opposite. I mean, when I was like 20, I went to USA.
Okay. Yeah.
It was me and my girlfriend then. I wanted to meet in Indians, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Reservations.
Yeah.
And I had my ideas were so like out of contact with reality. So,
Oh yeah.
which I noticed when I got there. Like,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was bad when I realized, because then I got disappointed and grudgy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So in a way, it's good to have low expectations always, as they say. Like, it probably is nothing special. Just go there and check it out, and then you will be surprised in a good way. Like, oh, this is really interesting. Or
Yeah.
you're more open to what's actually there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm curious, what kind of spiritual or not realistic preconceptions did you have
With Indians?
Yeah. What did you feel?
I think I'm gonna take a break and then I talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
If that's all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're back after another short break here. And we just mentioned that we had some differences early in life. I was more looking towards east, and you looked towards the west.
Yeah, interestingly. Mm-hmm.
But we both were on the spiritual path, I would say.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you went with the Indians, and I went more with the spiritual side of Bushido and the samurais.
Yeah.
But also tribesmen of, in my case, for the Sami people, the shamanic ways as well.
Yeah.
But you went for the shamanic ways, but in the more old-fashioned Indian ways earlier. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you traveled there, you said.
Yeah. This was from a rather early age. I longed away from this society.
Yeah.
Here in Sweden, and like this was a feeling of emptiness, and like I was totally prepared to go and live with some sort of native people, like indigenous people, or what you call them.
Yeah.
And I think this trip to USA and to the Indians, it was the first trip like that, which I did, because my family is not very much of a travelers. We go to Norway maybe and back.
Yeah.
So then it's a challenge for you to dare, to go. It's very scary sometimes to just go abroad.
Yeah.
But then my girlfriend was supportive, so then we went together.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and we even rented a car, in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and I drove on this highway of 6 miles.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Really insane.
Yeah.
But anyway, it started with, I think I read a book about these Indians in Arizona,
Yeah.
They're called the Hopi.
The Hopi.
Hopi, yeah.
Yeah.
And they live by mountains, sort of like this we have here, Halleberg. Like tables, flat, you know. It's not with a peak, it's more like flat. And,
a couple of old tooths.
Yeah, it looks like that, yeah. And they have these old villages and really interesting mythology, sort of. Which I didn't understand so much then, but now I read these Graham Hancock books. It starts to dawn on me what it's about more, you know. Yeah. Well, anyway, you know, I went there with a sort of intention to connect with the tribe, basically, and to say, you know, hey guys, can I live with you instead? Because I don't like it back home. Yeah, that was the feeling, more or less, you know.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I realized it wasn't like I imagined, you know. They were living traditionally. Some of these guys, you know, growing their corn and such, living sort of primitively, but on the big picture was that everybody was driving like a Dodge Ram, you know, these huge cars and just straight roads as far as the eye can see, and not so much a feeling of community and stuff like that. So that was a big disappointment, I think. But it was also good because I got to talk to some elders in the tribe, and I was too young to make so much of it, but it was still a good feeling to meet someone like that. So. And I also talked with a woman from, I think, from Ireland, maybe, or somewhere in UK. There was some of the Hopi men. They were touring in Europe to like talking to people to tell them, you know, you need to start caring about the earth, and we're seeing what will happen. It will turn out badly, right? She like started a relationship with one of these Indians, and she moved to this village and basically living the life I saw myself doing. So it was very cool to talk to her, and she was I was complaining a bit, like, you know, it's so hard to start something like this that you've done. She was more like it's not hard, you just go, man. Just do it.
Yeah,
so that was cool.
That's awesome. But what was the disappointment then for you when you were younger there?
Well, I think it didn't look like I thought they were living like Indians did in 300 years back or something.
Yeah.
You know?
So your vision was skewed, or?
Yeah, they were more. They had cars, you know. They had all modern things.
Yeah.
And so I thought it wasn't at all what I expected.
Yeah.
And well, I didn't see myself fit in there either, you know, like.
Yeah. So maybe the whole sign of this, the whole like teachings here, is basically that you should create your own tribe.
Sure. That's a good thing, you know.
Yeah. Because you do have envisioned how you want things to be like, you know.
But I'm sorry, but I still see myself living in another country, you know. It hasn't changed.
Yeah, but that's what I meant, you know. Yeah. Creating your own tribe, you know. But it doesn't mean that you have to be in Sweden. Like, you can be elsewhere. Yeah.
But I don't have to find a pre-set up tribe.
No, so. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. But maybe you also went there because you got some sort of like prophecy from some of the elders. Yeah,
it's so interesting. It connects. I see it now. It connects with these books I'm reading by Hancock. It's like the myths. They told us about the myths, you know, and they're sort of the same as in the South Americas. So yeah, it's all goes around, you know, in circles.
Yeah, so. And it's connected.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sure. they're really ancient people. The myths, they have very strong meaning from like tens of thousands of years back, you know.
Yeah. So what I saw reading through some of these books as well, and your inner calling and your visions and dreams as well, is that I see all of this sprouting from one seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
sure.
Yeah.
It's
even a speck of dust, you know, like yeah.
It's often like that. I think you do many different things, as you say yourself, that you often branch off like mycelium. But But the center of it all is you, and so it always goes back to the center.
Yeah. Definitely.
So you don't have to worry that it's so disparate and different things, like, because there is always something connecting them.
Wow. I feel so much more, relaxed.
Cool. Yeah.
Hearing that. Yeah.
I think that's the way it is.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about, like, how should I find this or this, It's not time for that right now. I'm here.
Yeah.
It's like it will come naturally back. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting journey, by the way. Like we came there, and we did the Indian meetings.
Yeah.
And then I got really grumpy, and it wasn't like the way I wanted. so it was not so good for my girlfriend. I think she was more just along for the ride, and she was more happy about it because she was totally open to anything. And then she wanted to go play pool, and do like these mundane things. So I was like, this is not what we're here for.
We're here for the prophecy.
Yeah. But still, it was good. She balanced out too much on my fanatic sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we went. If you have Arizona here, and then we went up, and then we went down New Mexico, which is a state next to it.
Yeah.
And that was also really cool because these two states are sort of the hippie center in USA.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of really strange and wonderful people.
Strange and wonderful people. You said Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, that's where you land with the plane.
Yeah.
Phoenix is perhaps interesting, but I don't know. It's huge, like a million city.
Yeah.
So on the countryside, it's more like. Well, it's the same in Sweden. If you go to the countryside and you meet really original people.
Yeah.
They are here as well, right?
Yeah.
So, but in the US there are like. And also another nice thing is they have this great culture of hostels, like vandrarhem.
Oh yeah.
So you can live really cheaply, and everyone staying there are totally open to talking and sharing and have parties,
Yeah. if when you explain it right now, I think we are just home. Yeah, we have that home tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing this, it feels more profound and more interesting.
Yeah.
It feels definitely more open-minded than compared to Sweden.
Sure.
I would say.
Yeah. So I mean, Americans seems to me they are generally like this, like. You can just talk. It's not a big thing, and
no, it's
you don't have to pretend to be someone else.
It's more straightforward. Yeah. And what I love about that is that side of life being more, what's it called, outgoing. I would say I like that part.
Yeah.
Straightforward, and
there was one place we stayed. There was this older lady. She was the boss, sort of, and we had food in the fridge. And then one day we came down, and she was standing there like eating our food. We're like, why are you eating our food? And she was just like, oh, this is what I do all the time, you know. It's she didn't care at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what to say?
I was hungry.
Yeah,
like,
you know, that was an example of.
That's so.
You just do what you feel like.
Just original, like
Yeah.
And you can't be mad at that type of person as well, because it's like, I'm like this, you know. I'm sorry. Like.
Yeah, and then we had our food in our room instead. Oh, what? Well, anyway, that was not so nice example, but we stayed in another place called. It was this really funny town. It was called Hot Springs to begin with.
Yeah.
Because they have these hot springs, you can sit in a tubs with natural hot springs.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah.
But then there was this radio program, and they had a contest, and the city that won, they would get the name of the program. Strangely enough, so this place it won, and the name of the program was Truth or Consequence. So now that this place is called that.
From hot springs to truth or
consequence. Yeah.
Consequence. Okay.
You know, it's the game you play. Like, yeah. You have to tell the truth or you have to take the consequence.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. So anyway, this was like out in the desert, sort of semi-desert with the cactuses and.
New Mexico side, or.
This was New Mexico side. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And at this hostel there was this old guy, like 60 maybe, looking like a weathered cowboy, sort of.
Yeah.
With a cowboy hat and boots and everything, and.
Yeah.
And he was really laid back, and like he said, yeah, if you want to hang out go with me out in the wilderness here, I know everything about all the plants and all the animals, and I can tell you anything, and yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were people making films about these Indians that we were interested in. So it was a lot of creativity and a lot of new age people like doing yoga and talking about these ley lines, the curry lines in the earth, like this. They said there's a lot of energy lines connecting in this area. So.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they like to be there. And at the time I got more and more into this spiritual alternative side.
Yeah.
But when I was 20, I was more like maybe more skeptical, you know, like.
Yeah. But somehow you ended up there not knowing it.
Yeah. And I mean, the Indian thing is, of course, in the same direction, but but I was more like, what lines, you know, what is this? I don't believe that so much.
Yeah. But now later in the years, what would you say now?
Well, I'm open to anything, you know. If I read, I read about these lines again, and that you can buy this slagruta in Swedish. I don't know what it's called in English, but you can have two metal pointers, and you can have them you can look for water with them, I think, like.
Okay.
Yeah, and also you're supposed to find these lines with this thing. And many people do this in their homes, because if you're like your head in the bed is on where they cross these lines, then you will not sleep well, or you maybe get headaches, or it will drain your energy, sort of. So you know, I bought this pair of gadgets and I haven't gotten them to work yet, but but I like it. You know, I like. You can try them later and see if you get some readings.
Interesting. Yeah, I would like to try that. Because I'm so sensitive to those things, you know.
Yeah. It has a lot to do with sensitivity and.
And especially letting go. Not holding anything, or like mentally steering something, or you just have to like be a vessel of the energy.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's find some time to try that.
Yeah. Now I actually know what I meant with the western part of the world. especially the US, I feel like my US friends is having that charismatic side.
Mm-hmm.
Very charismatic people compared to Sweden.
Yeah.
Like most closed-minded or closed off.
Very outgoing, right?
Yeah, yeah. And Sweden is more reserved, private. Kind of like, it's so irritating, you know? So, but my US friends is always the icebreakers.
Sure.
Yeah, I love that. It's so fun. Like with the jokes and everything like that. Some friends in Texas and Florida and even California as well, and we have some in Arizona region, as you said, talked about.
Like your programmer friends, game friends.
Both from the gaming side of life, the BDSM part, and more like fetish side, and travelers, and more spiritual, shamanic ways as well.
Right.
Overall charismatic people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be interesting. I'm part of a INTJ Facebook group, and mostly Americans.
Ah, interesting.
Oh, there, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're an INTJ, you would be not in the same style of the American psyche, basically, right? You would be more reserved, but still you're an American, so maybe you're more outgoing than the Swedish INTJ. Yeah. Who knows? It's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the forum at least because if you ask a question, you get a lot of sharp answers, right?
Well, so, what do you think about the Govinator?
What's that?
Arnold, the Govinator.
I'm not so well read on him, but he seems to do a lot of nice things, like very caring things and progressive in the sense that he wants to make things better for everyone.
Yeah.
Sort of. Genuinely, I mean, like this.
Because he's an INTJ.
Right.
Yeah.
You mean like what his personality is like?
Yeah. Or if you ever came across some people in life that you later notice, like, oh, that's an INTJ. No wonder I got inspired from that guy.
Yeah, it hasn't happened to me because I don't ask so much what they are. Like, but it would be interesting to ask.
Yeah. Because right now, I can bet that some people you have read about, or like some of your biggest role models in life, even like older INTJs, you just don't know it. But if you look it up, I'll bet some of the people are INTJs.
So that's how it usually works. That like you connect. Your role models are the same as you.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm just like.
It's a speculation, but
speculating. Yeah, but maybe. But.
It could make sense.
Yeah, in my case, when I was younger, I found I just loved Robin Williams.
Yeah.
For instance, and I didn't know why, because I looked a lot on a lot of his movies,
Like this with the students. What's that one called? Dead Poets Society.
Oh yeah! Oh my God!
That's
so good.
So good.
Yeah. And Flubber.
Flubber?
Yeah.
I missed that one, I think.
Robin Williams plays a scientist and creates like a green goo.
Yeah, I've seen the poster, I think.
Yeah, and he has a robot friend.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt like the little female robot is an INTJ. And Robin Williams, ENFP, of course. But he has those characteristics, of course, in his character as well. So I really love that relationship. And the movie as well, but all like Robin Williams movies, I found the ones I've seen, I always felt like a deep connection, both the joy and sadness. Yeah,
deep feelings with him.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was younger, I didn't know why. Yeah, but later I looked it up, and he's the same personality type as I am. I was like, no wonder, like, what?
Sure.
Because I just knew, I just felt the connection without even knowing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Many connections like that in life, I would say. But yeah, I would say like role models and like inspiring people for creating good in the world. I would say like the good rings on the water, feeling wise and everything like that. I think Robin Williams really saved me from many bad things in life. Yeah. Yeah.
His movies, I realize now, some of them at least are about saving a younger adept or student, right? Like you have this Dead Poets Society, and then you have what's it called? This one about the the kid who is sort of trying to find his way.
Exactly.
You know which one I mean, right?
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I can say it, but I won't say it. But it's so obvious for people listening. I feel.
Yeah,
as
sure,
well,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, then he's just focused on this one guy to help him
exactly
rise, sort of. So,
yeah.
So it's fitting, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I can feel connection with INTJs like in this group because I feel they think the same way as I do. So it's really easy to relate, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But well,
it's like an effortless connection.
Yeah, you know, I
it's
don't,
like obvious.
I don't hesitate when I write something there. You know, I don't think like are they gonna understand me? It's more like
you can just like blur.
Yeah, and everybody right? Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. That's what I love. You know.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah, definitely.
Because
in the ENFP groups I've been in, it's been like quite the opposite because like some of the ENFPs are so unbalanced. So they're like nagging or something like that, and because I can see they're unbalanced, I feel like okay, it's not the time right now. Okay, just chill for a while. Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't know, of course, as well in the groups. Maybe some people are not what they say.
Exactly. Like we have like in the freaking ENFP groups, we have so many intruders.
Yeah.
Like it's insane.
Imposters. Like
imposters. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just call them out like, no, you're not really.
You're a fraud. Like, no.
Throw him out.
Yeah. Keel haul him. Throw him under the bus. Oh. Yeah. Like a pirates kind of thing, you know, like walk the plank.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, what were you going to say? The INTJ group, you said, because the relationship is so easy to understand. You can easily write to people and like they will understand like automatically.
Sure, and there's very practical questions often from me, and I think from others as well. For me, I'm like I have this. I'm obsessed with shoes, for example. You know, like how they should be treating your foot properly so it doesn't become uncomfortable in any way.
Yeah.
So I had questions about that and got really good answers. You know, a few answers that was not at all right in the right area, but well, yeah, it's good. It's a good group.
Yeah.
Anyway, they are all Americans. That's why I brought it up, I guess.
Yeah. But did you notice also if you notice some unbalanced INTJs?
Yeah, there was one guy who was very aggressive, for example, and answering in a bad way.
Yeah.
And then he got comments about that, you know, like what they're doing.
Yeah, then it's like all the good guys INTJs is like hey, you know. Like,
yeah, don't be like that.
Yeah.
And I asked about, I was looking into working with the military a while back.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And then I asked the guys in the INTJ group, what do you think can we INTJs fit into the army? Like, it was very interesting answers because culturally in the US and in Sweden the military is very different, right? So. because they actually go to war, for example. That makes a big difference, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, they said like, yeah, you can stay there for a year or two, but then you're gonna freak out about this like rules and regulations and doing things in the most stupid way, sort of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and something that I actually warned you about.
Yeah, you said the same basically as what I said. So yeah, you had good insights there, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I noticed like the first thing you like when you told that to me, I was like, no.
Yeah.
It's like no. Yes, but no.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I actually applied for the jobs anyway, but I wasn't even called to the interview. So
Yeah.
And now I'm so happy with this hemp project. So
yeah, and I think it was for the good purpose as well. For a
Yeah.
good purpose.
Sure, yeah. It was just for the money, I suppose.
Yeah. And in my case, going east instead to Japan and Asia, China, Vietnam, and those places. I myself haven't been there before,
Right.
or yet, I would say, because it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And India as well.
Mm.
I noticed, like you have been in Vietnam, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that those connections and those people are really in tune with how I feel and think about things. I would say, and talking to my friends who live there as well, it's like being, or they acknowledge those things and say like, yeah, it is like that, you know. It feels good, you know, and to be reminded of, because sometimes, because as you said, like being empty at home here in Sweden, I feel like you don't fit in.
Yeah.
It's like dreaming towards that place where you fit in, you know.
Sure.
It feels great, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to it. You can say it's escapism, maybe, like, but I think it's.
Yeah.
It's not just that. There is a true pull for both of us. Like,
yeah, a true force of nature pulling us towards that path.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, because you can also think like, yeah, we can change things here in Sweden, and it can be more like suiting us, but it will take forever and a day. So
yeah,
it's well, I've been abroad a few times, you know, and also when you're away, you sort of long to get back after a while. So it's just not that simple, you know. But I think the ideal thing for me would be like having like a home in two places somehow, and
yeah, same here.
Just going back and forth, you know.
Yeah. That's something that I was thinking about even when I was like really young, even like having different places to live, you know, and just being able to change on the fly.
Yeah,
that would be beautiful. However, I hope and dream and like envision that time will come. But I always felt like a late bloomer as well. So yeah.
Sure, it will come. I think it's a matter of time, and I don't know. We're in the same spot a bit. Like I think like for me it's the money, and otherwise.
Like resources.
I would be out of the door in no time.
Yeah, like the resources.
Yeah. Sort of, and also, like I feel I don't have really my own place now, and it would be nice to have sort of a small place here, which is my base, and then I could go. But yeah, the recent state of affairs, I could also go quite easily, I suppose. But,
yeah.
Yeah. But sooner or later it will happen. This podcast will make us rich, I think. Come on, guys. I hope more and more will listen. Please tell your friends. No, just kidding.
No, but seriously, go tell everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, but only like the ones that matches, I would say. Like naturally, I feel like perhaps we will speak to people naturally, like the ones that feel connected to it, you know. And I would be really like glad to, like, genuinely, like me as an ENFP, being able to connect with other ENFPs, INFJs or ENFPs or INFPs, INTJs, you know, ENTPs or whoever you are out there. Like, it doesn't matter what type really, but it's like would be beautiful to find new friends and connections, you know, abroad. New Zealand, I know you're there, like Australia, Japan, I know you're listening to, like Asia, the east side as well, and western side, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, all over the world, I feel.
Yeah, sure.
It's great. I feel it's right now we're in this spot here, like saying those things, and I feel like that will naturally come in the future. It's gonna be interesting who sends messages and who will connect, you know, because we have so much planned for the future as well with the podcast, you know. With a couple of friendly faces and known faces and known places, and traveling perhaps along with the podcast. If we do get resources, we will continue with the podcast and bring in more fun, famous people to talk about. Doctors and scientists and mad people and all the crazy cool people.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing to travel with a project like this. You know, when I traveled, I usually make drawings. You know, like that will sort of anchor you in the place, and you look at things more intensely.
Yeah.
So if we would travel with a podcast, you know, we would every time we would talk about the experiences. You know.
Yeah, and I would make
reflecting deeply, sort of.
I would make funny short animations.
Sure.
I could make like 2D animations of your drawings, easy.
Cool. Yeah, we can have that as well. Yeah. And in the podcast, like commenting, reflecting about what we have done, and it's a totally different quality of traveling than if you just go and, you know, don't really make anything of it. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's
It
can also give you a sense of this is superficial, and I'm just a tourist, you know, doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the meaning of this is the depth of connection and intuitively speaking. Always more an underground root of both mycelium and roots, and anchor many different subjects that isn't usually or normally talked about.
Sure. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, the natural ways. Alternative ways, alternate thinking, really spacing out in things, I would say. And if you guys think it's a good idea, if we should create a Patreon or something like a supportive site for the podcast in the future, please do tell. And if you are willing to support this, we would really continue and put more effort and like resources into this as well.
It would help a lot. So yeah, sure.
That would be epic, actually.
Yeah.
Because going abroad, going to the countries that we want to travel to, and report our knowledge and wisdom, experiences, and our intuitions from those places, and record that, I think we would gain a lot of wisdom from different elders in different countries or cultures, even. Speaking about these things.
Sure, like going to these ancient monuments and
exactly
getting into the meaning of it all, and the energies and whatnot.
both frequencies, energies, vibrations.
And the cosmology is also important. Like you can see how the stars relate to the buildings and everything.
Yeah. I think a little part of me would say we will be the first podcasters out in space on Mars.
Yeah, that's reasonable, I guess. Yeah.
So we're here now today, Johan. We're out on Mars, and we have some sandstorms coming in here soon. Like,
yeah, it's very red. Everything. Yeah.
It's very red everywhere.
Yeah.
We have sand. We have more sand, and we have sand.
Yeah, it's yet another Saturday.
Yeah. Just another sandy Monday.
Yeah.
Yep.
You shouldn't stay too long. I think it's like just a week maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it will take a couple of months to go there, but
yeah. Oh yeah.
Stay a week, couple of months back. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose if you go, then you want to stay longer, right?
Yeah. Automatically, you will stay longer, even if you don't want to.
Yeah. And also, when you're out in space, you age more slowly, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Maybe we will be 400 years old when we get back.
Yeah, everybody we knew and just gone, and
yeah, and
it would be strange.
Yeah. The time really develops in a whole other dimension and spectrum.
This is just physics, it's true. It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie with McConnelly? What's it called? He's going into space to save the Earth.
Is that when he poops to fertilize plants and stuff?
I'm not sure. It's anyway. The point I want to make is that he goes out into space and he has a daughter.
Yeah.
And a family, sort of, and he really is always in a hurry because like an hour is 15 years or whatever. So. He wants to meet her daughter again. So.
Oh yeah.
So when there are delays in the traveling, there's so much frustration. Like shit, she's gonna be gone when I'm come back. So,
oh yeah.
So that's something to consider,
Yeah.
If we go into space, I'm not sure about that, but maybe, who knows? We can talk to Elon. Maybe he can send us up quickly.
Oh yeah, definitely. Musk, if you hear this, shoot us up.
Yeah, but make sure we can get back.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, yeah. I must say, if Elon Musk sends us out in space, I would say that I need to have Jim Carrey at my side to cheer things up. Definitely.
He will be constantly funny.
No.
And very profound. He's also very spiritual. So.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, I really love the connection spiritually with him as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin Williams in spirit, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring the spirit of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
So we have to sort that out somehow.
Didn't they freeze Robin Williams in a cryo chamber somewhere? Maybe we can find him.
And just bring him.
Yeah, just bring his DNA and clone him.
Right. And when one Robin Williams gets sort of, you heard it all, you just make another one.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
A little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah.
With sort of more twisted jokes.
Here's the morbid version. Here's the this one and this one and this one. Yeah.
Finally, you don't even understand what he's saying. Like, what? Don't make any sense, man.
Yeah. That's so cool. And we must revive Nikola Tesla as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
He can make new innovations for.
Yeah, he can build a spaceship.
Yeah,
definitely. Da Vinci perhaps could make some funny spaceships.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Leonardo, yes. Yep. So this was a little short space out as well.
Yeah, it was space.
Spacey.
Should we have a break?
I think so, right? Do we have something more to talk about today? Yeah, I think so. No? Yeah, maybe? No? Yeah.
I'm not sure. Could be enough, huh?
Yeah, I think so for this time, and we will save some more goodies until next time. I feel.
Yeah. Let's keep,
and that I meant we were going to talk about the spirituality of yoga and meditation as well.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps I will do a sitting with you with some practices.
Yeah, that's something we could do.
Yeah, should we save that for the other time or this time?
I'm not sure. Let's take a break and
we take
this.
a break. Yeah.